Ladies and gentlemen, today we will be discussing the 2020 through 2022 C8 Stingray and Z06 Corvette news that you need to know about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Brink of Speed and another episode of C8 Corvette updates. Today, I want to, before I get started, do something that I have done recently but don't do enough, and that is thank each and every one of my Brink of Speed community for all of your wonderful support. I love each and every one of you. I absolutely can't express in words how much I appreciate all of your guys' comments, feedback, your thumbs up, your shares, your likes, and just keep up the great work, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate it big time. Now, if you have not joined the Brink of Speed community and this is your first time watching one of my videos, I appreciate you hitting that play button. And if you'd like to consider joining the Brink of Speed community, make sure you smash that red subscribe and bell notification. That way, anytime I put out new content, you're alerted. Okay, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. And the first thing that I want to talk about is the 2020 production numbers. And I found this awesome website, and it's called Citrus Vets and Camaros Car Club. And they just happened to put together a really nice list of the C8 VIN numbers and production dates. And as you can see here, while I'm scrolling through this, it shows all of the Corvette C8s built each week, each month, and the total for each week. And so we're going through that right now. And as you can see here at the very end that we're coming to, we're in August right now, about to be in September. We are all the way to 11,304 C8s built to date. So I wanted to get that information to each and every one of you. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about is the C8 2020 crashes that have recently happened. Now, this is very sad. I hope and pray that each individual that was in these cars is okay. Whether they walked away from the crash or not, I hope that even if they had to be, rushed to the hospital, that doctors were able to save their lives. But as you can see here, with both of these wrecked Corvettes, they look pretty brutal. And I just, like I said, I hope and pray that these individuals are okay. Please be careful when you're out there driving your C8. Please understand that these are very powerful machines, and if you've never driven a machine like this before, if you've never driven a car with this much power, you have to give it the respect that it deserves. Trust me. As a young adult, I had fast cars, and I learned the hard way. I never, totaled a car like that, but I definitely had my mishaps with powerful cars. So let's go ahead and move on, though, to the next topic, which is all of the recalls that have happened for 2020 C8 Corvettes. And as you know, the earliest recall that happened was the front trunk, or the frunk. And ladies and gentlemen, I know what they said happened with that. I still believe, and I probably said this in other videos, I still believe that that was a user error. Now, if you think I'm wrong about that, make sure you leave that down in the comments below. Let me know what happened to you if this happened to your front trunk. But honestly, I think for the most part, people just were not pressing down on the front trunk twice. I was told from the very beginning at the Corvette Museum when I took delivery with my great friend Clarence of Seagar Speed 252, which, by the way, if you have not checked out his channel, make sure and do so. Give him a subscribe. But anyway, they taught us there that you put the trunk down very gingerly, and then you press in once, let it click, press in a second time, let it click, and then it's shut properly. With all that being said though, GM went ahead and issued a new update with the remote control. So now you can't just double tap the front trunk button and it open. You actually have to tap it once and hold on the second tap for, I think it's 5 seconds, and then it opens. So I guess what was going on is people were accidentally basically hitting it while it was in their pocket while driving, which should not have been the case in the first place. GM should have made that completely unusable while you're driving. But anyway, they seem to have fixed the problem. There hasn't been any trunks flying up, so good on them. But there are 3 more recalls that are very serious, and I want to get into those. The first is the brakes. Now, this has to do with the brake boost line, and this is very serious if your C8 Corvette has this issue. There was some contaminated materials used apparently in the brake boost lines, and this is causing issues with the computer being able to talk to the brake-by-wire. And so if this happens to your car, which thank God this has not happened to my car. I don't think I'm gonna have this issue. I have almost 8,000 miles on my C8, but I digress. If this has happened to your C8 Corvette, or if it's going to happen to your C8 Corvette, they say you're gonna probably be notified right away from GM to take it to your dealership. But if it's already happened before they've notified you, what I'm hearing is happening is you're pressing on the brake and there's pauses in your braking, and so you're having to press way harder on the brake. So if you ever have an emergency stop that you need to make and that happens, you're probably going to end up hitting whatever you're trying to stop for. So with that being said, if you have had this problem, leave it in the comments down below. Now moving on, the seat belt is another very concerning major issue that's happening with these 2020 C8s. Apparently at high speeds, the seat belt is not locking when the brakes are applied hard, and also when something is actually hit at a high speed. Apparently some of these seat belts are not locking up properly, and that's a huge issue. Seatbelts are designed to lock up at impact so that your body stays as in place as it possibly can. And so, again, leave me a comment below if this has affected your C8. I hope this hasn't affected your C8. You probably won't know that your C8's affected until you almost get in an accident, or you do get in an accident. So hopefully GM will do the same with this and notify you right away to take it to the dealership and get this replaced. Which, by the way, all of these things are being replaced by your Chevy dealership right when GM notifies you of this. Now, the third thing is not dangerous, but it's really annoying, and it's something that, thank God, I know for a fact I don't have to deal with, because we know production dates that deal with this one, and that's the valve springs in these LT2 engines. The valve springs are messing up in not only the LT2 engines that are in the 2020 C8s, but it's affecting actually all the GM brands. And I don't know what is affecting this. I would be willing to go out on a limb and say that it's probably something to do with the V4 mode that they're putting in all of these cars, all of these V8 cars. That's why I drive mine in manual mode until there's a company out there that actually releases a device to plug into your port and get rid of that V4 mode. But I would be willing to go out on a limb and state that the V4 mode is probably having something to do with these valve springs messing up. So the good news though is between June 1st and I think it's September 9th or September 11th is when these cars are having these issues. So mine was a very early production date. I don't have that issue. Hopefully a lot of you don't have this issue. If you have a C8 that was built between those production dates, make sure to keep an eye on that. You're gonna hear a misfire, and there are a couple of codes out there that have come up on the Corvette forums One of the codes is P0300. The other one, there's actually two more, P0106 and P0506. These are all misfire codes, and you will probably have a check engine light with those codes if you have the valve spring issue. Now, like I said, this is not just happening in the C8 Corvette. So this is something that I believe has to do with a part issue, a manufacturer issue for that particular valve spring, but also probably something to do with the V4 mode. So let me know in the comments what you think about these valve spring issues. Okay, let's get on to a little bit more of a subject that we will enjoy speaking about, and that is the 2020 C8 values right now are huge. They are up big time. Now, I know you've seen my videos of Corvette World showing what they are paying for C8 Corvettes and then turning around and selling them for, but I just want to let you know that right now there are so many owners out there that are getting their cars, and before they even drive them 50 miles are turning around and selling them for a $20,000 to $30,000 profit. Now, you guys might think I'm crazy for not doing the same with my car, but I bought my car to enjoy and for you guys to be able to enjoy on my channel. I know I could probably get a $20,000 premium on my car right now, but that's what's going on out there. There are plenty of dealerships out there that are also marking these cars up. But even the dealerships that don't mark them up and are selling them for MSRP like my dealership did, the owners are taking delivery of them and immediately turning around and selling them for these giant profits. So this is good news and bad news. It's good news for anyone that wants to do that. And it's bad news for anybody out there that would love to just own one of these cars and weren't able to get an allocation for one and are looking for either a used one or a brand new one that's for sale, and they're having to stomach the idea of maybe paying an enormous markup for these cars. So that's it for the 2020 news. We're gonna move on to 2021s now and let you know that as far as I know, 2021s are pretty much sold out. At least they are at my dealership. My dealership has 280 allocations and they already have like 360 orders in on the 2021 C8, and I'm pretty certain that across the United States that's going to be the case. In fact, I talked to Chevy Dude about a month ago and he was completely sold out of his 2021s. So let me know in the comments down below if this is true, or if you know of a dealership out there that still has 2021 allocations. Put the name of the dealership down in the comments so that people can see that and they can maybe go and get one of those 2021s still. Now, speaking of 2021 C8, good news, the designer on Chevrolet.com is running now. So you can actually go and design your 2021 C8 Corvette. Now, as far as building it and pricing it, that is not up and running yet. I know it was the same way with the 2020 last year. It took quite a while between the designer and the build and price side to get running. So hopefully that'll be up and running soon, but at least you can go and design one and pick the new colors and things. So have fun with that. Now, moving on to the latest Z06 sightings. Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen some Z06s in Colorado, and we've got some differences in these Z06s, and I'd like to talk about that. As you know, the first early sightings of these Z06s had big wings on them, but they had the exhaust in the exact same location as the exhaust what is on the 2020 C8 Stingray. But as we take a look further, the new Z06 sightings, which this picture was taken by Corvette Blogger. So if you know anything about Corvette Vlogger, he is an awesome guy. His name is Keith. He puts out Corvette content all the time on his website. If you have not visited it, make sure and go to CorvetteBlogger.com and check out all of his information. But this is a center exhaust, and it looks to me like 4 exhaust pipes, which is kind of interesting because 2 in the middle are very big, and then the 2 on the outsides are a lot smaller. But yes, there are 4 exhaust pipes reminiscent of the C5, C6, and C7 exhaust pipes. So this is very interesting. And then side vent is another area that people are discussing. It's very difficult in this picture to see what actually is going on. But if we go back to previous pictures, it actually looks very similar to those. And it is different looking compared to the C7 Stingray. But again, this is all under camouflage. It's very difficult to tell anything. I can't wait till they take all that garb off of there and we're able to tell a lot more with this Z06. But let me know in the comments below what you know about the latest Z06 sightings. There were a couple of videos that I wanted to show, but I don't want to get a copyright strike on the channel, so I'm not going to do that. But if you look at the mid-engine Corvette forum, there are some sightings. There is a video of the engine just at idle, and it doesn't sound too spectacular like the one that we heard going around the corner in California on the mountain road. That sounded awesome. But anyway, you can check those out on the mid-engine Corvette forum. But let's move on to the Z06 specs and drivetrain and what I am predicting for those. Now, it's not just me that's predicting this. Obviously, we've got other magazines out there that are predicting what the drivetrain is going to be. I'm going to say that they're going to stick with the same 8-speed dual clutch transmission. They probably will have to beef it up a little bit to handle the kind of horsepower that the Z06, ZR1, and Zora are going to produce. Anyway, I feel like we're going to still get the 5.5 liter flat plane crank motor with the dual overhead cams, and it is going to produce anywhere between 600 and 650 horsepower, naturally aspirated, and that's what I hope for. I want it to be naturally aspirated. I do not want to have any kind of forced induction on this Z06, but that's just my opinion. I think they should save that for the ZR1 and the Zora, but you guys let me know in the comments below what you want to happen and what you think about the specs that I just told you, and let me know if you think those specs are going to come true. Now, last but not least, people are asking, when can we expect the Z06? And what I would have to say to that is, if we could follow what happened with the C7, we would be expecting the Z06 as early as January or February of next year, 2021. However, because of all of the delays that the 2020 went through, and obviously you see the production numbers are super low, they're in the 11,000s for the C8 Corvette with all of the interruptions. Now all of the recalls have interrupted it again. I don't think we're going to see a Z06 until late 2021. But really, my expectations for the Z06 are not going to happen until January or February of 2022. And I think it could be as late as March of 2022. But again, let me know in the comments below what you think. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you were well informed by this video. I hope it gave you a lot of information you didn't know about. If you enjoyed it, give me a big thumbs up. Again, if you have not joined this wonderful Brink of Speed community, make sure and smash that red subscribe and bell notification so that you're notified when my new content comes out. I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you out on the road.